I can just picture everything the way it was then, how we used to run for the train.
At 91 years old, Mickey Shienley is enjoying her retirement years in Kelowna after a career spent as a hairdresser in Los Angeles. Although she has many great stories to tell about her time in La La Land, it's her late teens and early 20s during her service to the Canadian Army where many of her best stories are drawn from. Although she never enlisted, she worked in an industry that played a key role in the military efforts overseas during World War II. In 1941, at the age of 18, she left the family farm near Saskatoon to work in a plant in St. Catharines, helping to manufacture artillery and ammunitions.
I guess I worked there for about a year and then decided to go back home to Saskatoon, is where I was from, to visit my family. And I visited a friend of mine who I went to school with, and she said, "Oh, I'd like to go there." So the two of us decided, okay, we'll go.
The two friends met with Defense Industries Limited and were quickly on their way to the manufacturing plant in the town now known as Ajax, Ontario. It was a large shell-filling factory that employed over 9,000 workers at peak production.
We had to put all this gunpowder, TNT, and cordite, all the explosives, into the shells. We had to change shoes because we couldn't have any metal on us whatsoever. The shoes were rubber soled, and the laces there was no metal on any part, and we couldn't have a hairpin, a ring, or anything, no metal on us. So we had to do that. We had to go through screening before we would be entering into the plant.
After 6 months at the plant, Mickey began looking for a new challenge and landed with Victory Aircraft near Toronto, helping to build the legendary Lancaster bomber.
Riveting gun on the outside, and then on the inside you hold a bucking bar, and that flattens it out, and it had to be exactly so, couldn't be crooked or anything like that. And so they gave us a week's training, and now you're good to go. I was mostly on the inside because I guess I was small and fitted into the inside better for some reason or other.
Following her time with Victory, Mickey would move on to one final job prior to the end of the war in September of 1945.
We were making machine guns there. I remember working on there was different parts. Everybody had a certain part, and then it was assembled down the line. I was working on a lathe. 3/1000th of an inch was our tolerance. So you had a micrometer that you worked with to measure, and if they weren't in that range, then they were rejects and would have to go back to the smelting plant and get started all over again. I remember I was working on the machine guns, and when the war ended and it came on the intercom, and we all, of course, yelled, and great thing, it's beautiful.
Mickey will celebrate her 92nd birthday at the end of March and will no doubt have family on the edge of their seats as she shares tales from the past, something the group looks forward to every time they gather. Reporting for Go Okanagan on Shaw TV, I'm Brendan Osborne in Kelowna.